Welcome to my messy life. Take my hand and dive right on in with me. It's gonna be alright. Messy imperfect life with Leigh.
Hi, friends. Welcome to the Messy Imperfect Life podcast. I am overjoyed today because I have one of my dearest friends, Jill Van Lokeren.
You got it.
Did I say your name right?
For the first time ever.
I know. I got nervous right before I said it because I've always said it wrong, but I got it.
Congratulations.
That's good foreshadowing that this is going to be a real good time.
Yeah.
So Jill is one of my dearest friends, and I adore her to death, and she's so freaking busy that... somebody was going to
Does
come
she
in.
need to come in?
I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Anyway, Jill's so busy that every time I try and hook up with her, you want to have dinner? She's like, can't. Want to do this? Can't. Want to do this? Can't. I was like, want to come on my podcast? So I had to start a podcast to get Jill to my house, and so she's here. Yay!
Yay! I'm good with the last minute ask, as you notice. I think you asked me yesterday, and here I am.
I know.
So someone probably canceled.
Yeah, something fell through.
Right, exactly. But that's okay.
So I noticed your shirt that you have on today. Mm-hmm. What does it say?
Does this mean anything to you? My shirt says "Love Poet." When you see it, does it remind you of any moment?
Yes, it does remind me. It reminds me of the first time you fell in love with me. The moment you laid eyes on me.
And if I could take that moment back, because, oh, Lord. Yes, we were I'll start the story.
You start it.
So we moved here from Chicago almost 3 years ago, and we have a child in the same grade. And I did not meet you for the first 6 months of school. I'd never met you. I didn't know you existed, which is shocking. Now that I know you, I can't believe I never...
Seriously?
Yeah. So there was a party for all the kids around the holidays, and we went, and everyone's dressed real cute, I might add. Like a little black dress, a little dressed up. Well, I, of course, had on my Peace, Love, World, Love, Poet, flouncy
kind
T-shirt,
of your
really.
Goldie Hawn, hippie,
messy hair.
Cute.
And I was like, oop, I'm a little underdressed. But I was standing in the corner, and then...
Yeah, I was sitting in the corner of... the party. I wasn't feeling super social. I was looking at all the usual suspects going, no one I really want to talk to. And I had my glass of Chardonnay, and I thought, I'm just going to sit here. And then across the room, I spied this hot strawberry blonde gal. Oh, thank you. This hot strawberry blonde gal. I was like, who the hell is that woman? Why is she here? And I marched right up to you and said, who in the hell are you?
You said, who are you and what's your story?
Did I?
Yeah, just like that. And I was staying with John, who since too can't believe I never met you before. And anyway, we started talking, and I'm pretty sure lightning struck.
Lightning struck.
Yes.
I was like so excited. I was like, oh, who is this breath of, is it fresh air?
Yeah.
Who is this breath of fresh air who just showed up into my life and instantly loved you and knew that we were going to have lots and lots and lots of fun together?
And we have.
And we have.
And when you are with Leigh Keckner, I always joke to my friends that taking an Uber ride is even an adventure with you.
Oh, my goodness.
So I had no idea what I was in store for.
Taking an Uber ride.
Taking an Uber ride. Just taking an Amtrak train, actually, to be more specific.
Oh, my gosh.
It's always an adventure. You just don't know what's going to happen, and you laugh your ass off.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's fun to have a friend like that.
Thank you very much. It's fun to be that way and tiring.
Yeah.
But I remember on that Amtrak train just wanting to touch and talk to everyone that passed us.
Well, here is what's interesting about me is I hate practical jokes. I hate when people try and pull a fast one on someone. So when someone, because you'll go up to anyone and be like, "What's your deal? Are you married?" I'm the first one to be like, she's kidding. She, ha, ha, ha. I feel like I'm your wingman in a way that you'll start dancing with people and they'll look at you like you're crazy. And I'm your girl that's like, she's a mom of 5. She's really normal. Ha, ha, ha. But you'll take it as far as it'll go. And I spend my whole time trying to pull it back
unravel
in.
it.
I'm like, I don't know why I feel the need to defend you, but I think we make a good pair because you get so outrageous.
Yes.
And I,
Without
like
even
your
trying,
publicist.
it just happens.
Yeah,
It
it
just
really does.
it really
That's
happens.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's like you make your own fun.
I'm in my
Always.
own world, always having
Yeah.
fun. Everything is just what magic is going to happen in this room today? And I'll be walking into like a nail salon and everyone's
Yes.
from, I think, or I can't think where they're from at my nail salon. I think it's Vietnamese.
Yeah.
They're all Vietnamese and they're like this because they've been there all day. And I'm like, oh, we're going to have a party.
Yeah.
And I just know it's going to be a good time.
It doesn't matter if you're in an Uber, on an Amtrak, in a nail salon, you create a party.
Something's
That's a gift.
That something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes my nail lady just hits my hand because I'll say
Go
something.
a little far.
Yeah, she's like, "Don't say anything, Leigh. Leigh, don't." And I'm like, "I have to."
You
And-
really do. That's like, it's almost like a Tourette's of the.
well, I always say, like, to my kids when they beg for me not to talk to people or do a high
That's an
kick
invitation.
or to spin for no reason at the mall. They'll beg me, and I'm like, why would I ever keep a word to another person to myself?
Yeah.
Why would I ever keep a twirl to? What a disservice
Yes.
is that? We've got to share whatever the hell we have popping out of our crazy ass minds.
Yeah, and I've been around your kids when they have wished you made other choices.
Oh my gosh, my poor children.
I know.
It's funny because they are so
Mellow.
They're so mellow.
Yeah. Evie, I don't know yet. The
Oh,
jury's
hell-
out.
No.
But
Except Eve.
I'm quite entertained by Margot's view of you. the
They're
most.
just like,
I know they don't
please
understand
stop.
it. Right.
Please stop is what I think they probably say the most to me.
But they probably like it somewhere deep down.
Well, I think it's a combo that they are proud that I'm their mom. They kind of like it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then on the other hand, they are a little worried.
I think that's how I feel too.
Do you?
Yeah.
With me
Like, I'm
or with your
proud-
kids with you?
Well, look, you've met quite a few of my friends, my family, and they all love you. And so there's a side of you that is just really a joy spreader and all those things that people love. But every once in a while, I'm like, hold back. And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't. You can't.
Well, I can't, especially if I have a cup of cocktails.
Well,
Then
and
all-
that happens sometimes.
Then it might or might not have happened last night.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I went out to Bill Ferguson.
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah,
dear
yeah,
friend
yeah.
passed, and so a bunch of us took his wife out for Valentine's dinner.
Oh, nice.
And I had a couple hot sakis, and I got
One
a
thing
few,
led to another.
told a few funny stories, got some big belly laughs, got a little riled up,
Yeah.
and then most of the moms said goodnight and went home after dinner,
Ooh.
right? And then a gal named Joanne said to me and Liz, "Come on, go with me to have one more drink at Rocco's." And I was like, doesn't sound like a good idea for me right now. I kind of thought that, I had a moment of clarity.
You did think of that.
And then we were in Rocco's,
You
and
should
they
have
have
me. No, I know, doubles.
those
but
big beers.
one of the biggest things I ever learned working for Oprah is never go to a second location. Now, we're
Why?
talking more in terms of stranger danger and probably sexual assault.
Yeah, I think
But I
that's what that was.
Across the board, that's really good advice.
Oh my gosh, if I could live by that, my life might change. I might not wake up talking like a little bit like a man today. That's a really good rule of thumb. And
It
you
is.
brought up Oprah, which is something neat about Jill is besides that she's sparkly and she's a freaking blast and she's up for everything and she takes me on the greatest adventures. Like one of them, before we get into Oprah, was I had this fantasy of going to, what was it
You
called?
always call it Martha's Vineyard.
I was going to
but
say
it's-
Martha's Vineyard.
It's the Hamptons.
See, I'm so unfamiliar with that area.
Dream big, girl. Hamptons.
It was the Hamptons. So I thought, gosh, one day I want to go to the Hamptons, but I don't want to go like I go to Disneyland and stand in line and try and find the right ride.
She's saying she only wants to go VIP.
VIP, but I don't know a damn person in the Hamptons. So I was like, I wonder if that's a pipe dream. And then Jill sprinkled into my life. And Jill was good friends with another Jill who was on the Housewives of Beverly Hills.
No, you're telling the story wrong.
Oh, gosh, damn it. Can you help me a
First
little
of
bit?
all, Real Housewives of New York City.
Oh, that's right, because she's in New
would be
York.
in New
She
York.
wouldn't
The
be here.
Hamptons is off the coast of Long Island. Yeah, so I love Jill Zarin. She is a Real Housewife, original Real Housewife of New York, And she came to one of the final Oprah shows, and I got to know her. And she kindly invited a few of us on the staff out to her Hamptons home a few years ago. And it was one of the most fun weekends I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
And since then, she's like, you have to come back. You have to come back. And it just never really happened until I met you. And I'm like, well, we could go visit Jill.
And I mean, it exceeded my expectations. And wanting
Jill's a great host.
She's the best host. And she has really nice legs. I couldn't get over her
she's a
legs.
hottie.
She's a hottie.
Yeah.
And that's back when
And
her
she's
husband.
a mama bear.
She's a mama bear, and her husband, Bobby, was still alive, which I was so glad I got to meet him. It was precious. But Jill did it up for us.
Yeah.
Number one, she wasn't there when we got there, and we pulled up to this magnificent house on the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah. Jill's a caretaker. It's funny because you watch her on Housewives, and it's also crazy. But she's really a kind mama bear is the best way to say it. So we show up, she shows up after us, the food comes out, and then the plans start getting made.
Oh my gosh.
And I think we went on a yacht.
We went on a yacht.
One of the best lunches I've ever had.
To the fanciest restaurant that she said, when you walk up to this restaurant, there will be a person at the door and they won't even tell you this is the restaurant. And they'll look you up and down and say, well, we're closed. That they do that to people. So we walked up and I was so excited to get, shut down. And I walked up, I was like, hi, we would like to have lunch. And he was like, we only take men. This is male only. And I said, I have a penis. And he started laughing and said, come in. And it made me so happy because it was as odd as I imagined.
Yeah, but it was delicious.
It was it was delicious. And then we sat next to those people.
Yeah, they own that restaurant's Rouse.
Rouse, which is
they were so lovely.
So lovely. And that was my that's the pasta sauce I buy.
Spaghetti sauce.
It's my favorite spaghetti sauce.
They bought us wine and dessert. That's what I remember. But I just remember they were just so welcoming and kind.
I ended up praying with the matriarch of that family because her husband had just died.
Oh.
And we kind of got into a gab, and that was really sweet too. I liked that. So you don't know if I'm going to do the splits, which I did there. Remember we took a picture of me doing the splits there? And I said a prayer with someone. I had a full experience at that restaurant.
That about sums you up. You will
prayer in the
splits. A pray and a splits.
Occasional cartwheel.
A cocktail, a pray, and a splits.
That sums me up if I had to do 3 words.
Yeah.
What sums you up?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see.
Gosh, so many words fly into my head.
Friendly.
Very.
Open-minded.
Loving, giving, kind, and funny. I'm just helping.
Dance party doesn't make me mad.
No.
I'm not gonna lie.
You are so open for fun, and you know what I'm amazed with about you, and I so want to talk about Oprah. That's so funny that I keep pushing that back because she's such the bomb. I mean, on this planet, the most powerful woman I think on the planet.
Absolutely.
But you have created an amazing life for yourself. Like sometimes when my kids are screaming and my husband's gone and I'm worn out because I stayed out too late and I got to get up and do it all again. And I think, what is Jill doing right now? Her kids are all grown up. Who's she having lunch or playing tennis with? What party is she going to? You know what I mean? I'm like, you have worked with and are working with the most powerful women in the world.
And
I just got
pinch
chills.
myself every single day.
Like, okay, I'm just going to say we're not going to get too much into Michelle Obama because you're currently working with her on her book tour, but you are traveling with Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about the time you fell or no?
Oh, I mean,
no, you don't have to.
I'm happy to talk about it.
The part I liked
just
about
so embarrassing.
It was so embarrassing, but the part I liked about it was that the gal, because I can't remember anyone's name, brought it up in front of Barack Obama.
Yeah.
You talked to the president
about falling,
and then she brought up that you fell.
Ass in front of everyone. Yeah, one of the stops was moderated by Valerie Jarrett, who's, I love her, by the way, and she is one of the Obama's #1 advisors for years and years, known them forever. And I was rehearsing with her on the stage, and I didn't see a light behind a curtain and fell like the most embarrassing. Legs in the air, embarrassing fall.
I'm so bummed I missed it.
You can't even recover.
I'm so sad.
And I was like, and I wanted to cry, and I wanted my mommy because
that's when you know it's that bad. Because you told me you stood up and you were going to cry. Or you were trying not to cry.
it's so embarrassing. It's not even. So she was like, oh my God. And it just made it worse. Anyway, so I kind of got through the briefing with her, barely. I would just remember I couldn't get a thought together. And then later that night after the show, it was the show where President Obama surprised the crowd. We were in their dressing room, and I walk in, and VJ, as I love and call her, says, oh my God, are you okay? Jill fell, and
she wouldn't
the
let
whole
it go.
thing. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said I fell in front of the president. And he was like, Jill, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm
President
so
Obama.
okay. However, my ego and my pride is crushed through the floor. But they were all so kind, and they really were worried about me. I mean, Valerie saw it happen. It was a bad fall, but I was fine, and I really was, nothing was hurt. But at the same time,
I wish I would have seen the fall. Like, that's the only part that I'm bummed that I didn't get experience,
I
because the
think
story is so
she
great.
did tell my husband when she met him, and she said, oh my God, your wife took a fall. And
She
again, I'm
can't
like,
let
let's
it
stop
go.
talking about it.
Let it go.
And she goes, but that's when I knew I liked you. 'Cause
Oh,
it was very sweet. Because I guess the way I handled it, which to me is still all horrifying.
You were
and
just
I
trying not to
I'm
cry
traumatized
and
by
say,
this
"I want my
entire
mommy."
conversation. But yeah, you know, it's so.
What did Barack look like in person?
I mean, he's adorable. They're adorable.
Is she taller than him? She looks like she's bigger than him. He looks like lean.
Similar height. Yeah. But really kind, and
He's so cute.
he's so cute, and she's stunning.
She's
and
just
she's
badass.
a force. She's a
a
badass
force.
She's cool. She's kind.
She's cool and she's funny and she knows
Yeah.
who she is and she's clear on her message.
Yes.
She has clarity and she's on point, and she too brings all of herself.
yes.
It's not as wild or quite as messy as my show up,
Right.
but she brings all of herself.
Yes. You just want to be in her aura. That is the goal. And the fact that I am is a huge blessing.
And that's the thing about you, is like, you are this kind of, I mean, you're from Ohio, right? You're the small town girl
Cincinnati.
from Ohio, and I see that picture of you, you know, when you put on something when you were young, and to think that now you are running with, organizing, helping, assisting, producing these women. It's like, what do you think it is about you that got you with the most powerful women in the world?
Well, that's
I mean, you're with one right now,
Yeah.
so, you know, I'm kind of in the
See?
pool.
Dream big. No, well, how I got it is really what I would tell everyone is, I mean, I worked really hard.
And you were good at what you did too.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I think I was. And so I sent my resume to Oprah when I lived in New York City because number one, and this is what people have to really understand, is I even believed it was possible, right? So a lot of people always come up to me and it's like, how'd you get that job? And da-da-da. And it's like, that right there tells me they would think it would never happen for them.
Yeah.
So what
they already put up the roadblock.
Right, because they maybe didn't learn it's a big wide world and dream big.
Yeah.
So what I tell kids today and students today is like, you know, name 5 people, brands, sports teams that you love, and all of them have employees. So why can't it be you? And I think
Yes.
fundamentally that is just something I always thought I could at least try to do anything. So I think that's what led me to her. And then, of course, being in her presence for years and years, you learn a million life lessons.
How many years were you working on Oprah Winfrey's television show in Chicago?
Well, 96 to 2011 was purely the show.
Is that like 10 years? I can't do math.
16.
16 years. And she had the most interesting people in the world on
Yes,
her
she
show,
did. Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Do you have like a handful of people that were your favorite or a favorite?
Well, I have different categories. I have
Hear 'em.
celebrity favorites and I have guest favorites.
Okay.
So which would you
So,
want to
well,
hear?
do you even break them up like singer, dancer, actor?
No.
Okay, so tell me.
You know
your
what? Here's what I go
celebrity.
by. I go by the experience I had with the person. And, you know, you saw all sorts and types and met everybody along the way. But for celebrity, I love George Clooney. Could not be nicer. And his father was my newscaster growing up, and his dad was with him. So I felt a little bond with him.
That's so
But,
sweet.
Yeah. But he's so great, and he's such good energy, and I would say Tom Cruise is one of the nicest people I've ever been around, and is as nice to the person that he, greets you walking out of the car, to the driver, to Oprah and everyone in between.
Just a good person.
I actually did the show where he jumped on the couch.
Oh my gosh. As soon as you said that's all that was in my mind was him jumping up and down on the couch.
And let me tell you, from my perspective, behind the scenes perspective, is I actually thought it was a really
fantastic,
beautiful moment, because I met them backstage, and Katie's Ohio girl, so love her. I felt that seemed really genuine, and they were newly dating, and it was really cute. So when he did that, on one hand, I certainly was like, ooh, what's going to happen in the press with that? But the other part of me was like, that's really, like, he's showing how much he likes her. And I thought that was really sweet. And, I bought it. I thought that was darling.
I think if my husband smushed his legs up on top of a couch and started hopping really fast, I might get upset. Because it looked
you might be
odd.
like, that's a little weird.
I'd be like, honey, let's work on expressing our joy in different ways.
He was just feeling himself, and he did it in a big way.
It
and
was.
Please,
I get it.
I don't know if he'd do that again. Probably not, after all the press that came out about it. But I did really think at that point in their lives, they seemed very sincere and cute, and he was
went
feeling
for
himself.
It. He wanted to jump.
Good for him. It's a TV show.
Right. I mean, who am I to judge that somebody would jump?
Exactly. Right.
I'm all for it.
100% Miss Splits.
Yeah.
But the guests that I'll never forget are the ones. One of the biggest things I really love to do, and I did a lot of, and it's weird to say loves to do, but is book newsmakers. So, and why I say it's weird is because you're booking, like, Andrea Yates. I don't know if you remember her. Like, drowned all her kids, and then I booked her husband to be on the show. But meeting people like that, 9/11, booking the people that are still looking for their relatives, Columbine kids, meeting those people fundamentally changes who you are, because these are regular people going about their lives, and then all of a sudden they're thrust into this spotlight, a lot of times for very sad reasons.
Yes.
And I don't know, I just had a lot of empathy and sympathy for those kinds of people, and I keep in touch with some of the guests, and I would say those are the people that made me probably a better person, as far as
that.
I now want to live my life with purpose and knowledge that A, anything could happen at any given moment, but B, that that every life matters, and you've thrown into these situations that aren't always your fault, and sometimes they are, but regardless, it's like, I don't know, I just had an awareness about the preciousness of life when I meet people like that.
And this podcast is about the messiness of life.
Yeah.
And you're talking about these people with the messiness. When you got them, were they still raw, or did some of them know kind of why it happened and they were learning from it, or were they still in the just raw phase of it?
Well, I mean, we always try to get the guests, as soon as possible. And that competition of it all and the booking of it all, like, that was one of the things I love doing. Like, that, I'm fueled by that.
Yeah.
So, raw as can be. I mean, we got the first interview with Rusty Yates. It was shortly after all that happened. Oh, my gracious. And, you have to learn how to be around those people. And you can't just be like, hi, welcome. Here's the green room, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you just have to meet their energy. And
what you're saying right now is, I think, one of your greatest gifts. And I think that's why you are with the most powerful women in the world, because how you treat other people, it's just kind of natural and matter of fact. It's just welcoming and let's go. And it's not like, oh my gosh, so sorry. It's just, you do it with such grace and ease.
Well, thank you. I think that's something I've learned along the way, though.
Being at Oprah?
I think one of the biggest lessons she's ever taught the world, but specifically me, is you have to be aware of the energy you bring into the room. And I think that when I got it, that was a huge shift in my life, in all aspects of my life. And I think has led to more and more career success, because I'm not just trying to be like, we'll do this and like sell you on something. I'm trying to think of it more 360 and have an experience and be with it, rather than try and push something.
I love it.
Yeah.
Another gal that you've worked with, who I think is just super sexy. I don't know, her square jaw is so sexy. Maria Shriver.
Mm-hmm. Love Maria.
it just,
I know. You know what? I think I put out into the world that I love working with cool, strong, powerful women. And I do, because not only do I love the work that I do, I love learning from them.
yeah.
And Maria is funny. And I think that is a side of her that people would be surprised to hear. She's really funny. She's a fierce mama bear. She loves those kids. She roots for her kids.
Oh,
I really enjoyed working with her. And beyond all the work she does in the media, like what she does for Alzheimer's, specifically women and Alzheimer's, is, commendable beyond.
Remind me, I want to put her in touch with, or you can put her in touch with my friend Rudy Tanzi, Dr. Tanzi. He's like the #1 on the forefront of Alzheimer's.
She probably knows him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big connector.
Yeah. Good job, Lee.
Yeah, right here, I'm going to help people. I'm going to really help Maria Shriver reach out to people.
Yeah, there you go.
What I wanted to talk about, because you were talking about dream big, and you were talking about how people say, oh my gosh, how did you get that job? You're like, I applied and I knew it was possible and I got it. One thing I always knew during Oprah's 25-year run is that I was going to be on her TV show. Now, before you laugh, I already saw the kind of eye roll, but don't do it yet. So I always knew I would be, Jill, I always knew.
I know you did.
I just freaking knew.
Yeah.
And I remember when I heard it was her last year, I thought, oh, what in the hell? What am I going to invent something? Am I going to save someone? Like, what is this miraculous thing that I'm going to do to get on her last show, her last season? Because she's going to have on the greats or, the hottest whatever. And I was just going, what the hell? And then, but I still knew it was going to happen. And then somebody told me they're looking for, she's launching her new network.
It was the very first show we did on OWN.
And it was called Your Own Show.
Yeah.
And they said, if you think you can have your own show, submit a 3-minute tape. Well, I had just shot a backyard talk show, and it was 5 minutes. I chopped that thing down to 3, submitted it, and I got called right away.
Yeah.
Like first, and they said, we have to go around the nation, and we have to go interview people, but save the slot.
Yeah.
You're in. And I was like, oh, but I still didn't know I was going to go on her show. I knew 2 things. I would be on her stage with her before it was over, and I knew that I would be on her new network, which this just makes me laugh so hard. So that's all I knew. I just had the knowing it was going to happen. So I submit my tape, I get on it. Then Oprah decides to fly the whole cast out to her show because she's promoting her new network, and she's going to introduce the people on the show.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember seeing me there?
Well, okay, so
I didn't know Jill.
Yeah.
She's going to become one of my best friends.
I don't remember if I produced that show, but I was we called it the Blue Hallway, which is the hallway that all the guests kind of gather before you enter the studio. And I remember being in the Blue Hallway and seeing you all and thinking, oh, okay, there's all the people that's on your own show. I remember rolling with Zach.
Yes.
I remember the lady who cooks.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, that's interesting. She's like an adult woman in a tutu. And
I wore a tutu on Oprah stage.
I noticed you. And when ultimately we put together that you were the lady with the tutu, I definitely have memories, more and more memories of watching you.
It's just so interesting that you would become one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And that we had that meeting in that moment. Not really.
Yeah.
But that you saw me.
Well,
when you just said an adult woman in a tutu, that made me laugh.
Yeah.
I never heard it worded like that.
Right.
It sounded very, very odd.
Yeah.
Like, what an odd person that is.
Person. And not to mention you wore it to the kids' pickup and all those things. So it was like your signature.
Well, I want to just say real quick, or you want to go on? Can I pop in real quick about the tutu?
Yeah.
So the tutu was literally, I grew up rough and tumble and feeling unloved, and my mother never took care of me and all this, whatever our story is from our childhood. So I had one too. So I had never really dressed up. I didn't even really start wearing makeup. I didn't give a shit about fashion. And as I got older, I was like getting more into it. And one time, my daughter Margot was 3. She's 17, so this was 14 years ago. And they said, you have to wear a tutu. Now, I was so far still from girly and never saw myself as like a girly girl kind of thing. And I had to wear a tutu. And I opened this Costco box of tutus I bought her, and I pulled up the sparkly tutu, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I just started bawling. And I was like, and I had this like tenderness for my younger self that never got to feel that way. And literally, I was so moved by it. I wore a tutu for I think the next 5 years.
I've seen some photos of that.
And I would get tank tops from
that
Target
story, though.
or from Hanes.
Yeah.
Hanes men's they call them wife beaters, but that's not a good word to say
No.
anymore. I don't like that, but whatever, that kind
Yeah, a
of, that
tank.
shirt. And I made tank tutus, and I would just wear them with my jeans and flip-flops and to exercise in, and it brought me such joy. And then one day I woke up, I was like, I'm done with that.
Right. Okay. You got it. Yeah.
I wore it as long
Probably
as
a
I
little
needed
longer
to.
than maybe some thought you'd wear it. No, but
Like my children.
what's funny about us though is we've met before that way, but we have this weird parallel life story too. Just small things, but big things, I guess. We got married the exact same day.
Yes.
On
June
a very hot
27,
day, June
1998.
27th. We went on the same honeymoon. And
We were in Greece together.
We probably saw you. I can't believe we didn't hang out.
Oh my God.
And then you were on the Oprah show. So we've had this weird, we've crossed paths
Yeah.
before. So it's kind of meant to happen
Yes.
on some level.
Isn't it funny? I think when the God or the universe or the stars are up there watching and they go, oh my gosh, we have been grooming these two to
Yeah.
meet. Here's the moment.
Right.
Lee's going to lay her eyes on
Right.
her. And I laid my eyes on you and I was like, I have got to get over there ASAP and get in this.
Yes, I know. And look at us now. So special.
It is special.
It is. It
It's
is.
really special.
Yes. I mean, how many times people talk about as you get older, it's harder to meet good friends,
Oh my gosh.
you know, and it's.
Okay, so I wanted to finish with, I want to finish this, but I want to stay into this, but I feel like I have to jump back really quick. So I did on the Oprah show, she's standing on the stage.
Oh, right.
There's the audience. And she said, Leigh Keckner. And I walk up and I'm on stage with her and I look at her and I wave. And then it's time for me to take off and make a right. And I turn right and start walking off and I turn back around and I look at her and I'm thinking, next time I need more details in my manifestation because it came
'Cause-
true.
Right.
But I would have
So
said
you weren't like telling your story on the Oprah show, but you were on the stage. You
it all
did meet
happened.
her.
What I envisioned
Right.
happened.
So
but
dream bigger.
I got to get more specific.
Yeah.
And I was on her new network, but for one episode till Dr. Phil kicked me off. The first episode.
Phil.
So both of those things happened.
Right.
And that's when I learned put in the details.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Put in the
Yeah.
details. Okay,
Right.
so my next one with
Yeah.
her is in Montecito, Super Soul Sunday, sitting under her favorite tree with the yellow chairs, little table, stainless steel straws, laughing and crying, storytelling, telling spiritual stuff. Then after she's like, do you want to stay for Pinot Grigio? And I'm like, hell yes. And we run around and play with her dogs.
Oh, this is your neck. This is the details.
That's what it would look like.
I got you. All
Instead
right.
of, I'm going to be on Oprah's stage. I literally
Right.
was
You're
on
gonna
stage
be
with
under her oak in Montecito. Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or doing it, that's where the detail
yeah,
is.
yeah.
You can't
Right.
just say, because it will happen if you know it's going to happen.
Exactly.
But have it happen.
I don't put it past you for a second.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly the information. Now, what was the thing that you said? Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to tell another quick story about you that touched my heart, and I might cry because I stayed up late last night, or because I have a tender heart under my craziness. But it was my 50th birthday party.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
And this girl named Liz said, let's go to Mexico. And we picked a place, and I picked the date for Liz because she had that week off work. And my husband was coming, and Liz and her husband and some people, whatever, this group of people were coming. And then all of a sudden Liz said, I can't come. And I'm like, but I planned the damn thing with you. What do you mean you can't come? She's like, I'm sorry, I can't come. And I was like, oh. Then my husband said, I can't come. I booked a job. And I was like, it's my 50th birthday in Mexico. He goes, well, I could do that or make this amount of money and we need it. And I was like, okay. And I sat in my desk in my room and my little girl was bawling, but my adult self was pouting. And I was just like, I don't have any close friends. I am too hard to be around. I am alone. All these stories from my childhood started swirling in my head. And then wait a second. I'm a strong woman who knows the deal now. I'm not listening to that shit. And I go, God, I'm so excited to see who you have planned for me to come on my trip. 10 minutes later, Lynn calls me. Now, I went to college with Lynn. We were kind of friends, but not really, but we reconnected recently. And she called me 10 minutes later and was like, hey, what's going on? Do you ever want to come to Sonoma? It's beautiful here. I'd love you to come stay at my house. And I was like, do you want to go to Mexico? She's like, yes. And I go, okay, I'll send you the date. And then my girlfriend Jackie called me, who you know as well. And she called me and goes, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what happened. I was like, do you want to go to Mexico? She goes, uh-huh. I go, okay. And then I had just met you.
Yeah.
I mean, we had just met, and I called Jill and I was like, do you want to go to Mexico? And she was like, yeah, can I bring my husband? I was like, yeah. She goes, okay. The most magnificent group of women came together that didn't go together.
Yeah.
Random people. And one girl I met once from Liz called me and said, Liz said you're going to Mexico. I was like, oh, she's not going. She goes, I'll go. I want to go. And I was like, then come.
Yeah.
And her husband came, who had a big hemorrhoid and had
surgery in Mexico.
In Mexico surgery. So we had two Johns on the trip, her husband and the other John. We called him Hemorrhoid John.
Yeah.
And then your John. But anyway, I remember.
Meanwhile, my John's like, Dave's not coming. I think when we landed, Dave's not coming.
And then you landed at the wrong airport and
we
had
landed
to drive.
I know. Cozumel, Cancun, whatever. But
I have to say, I was sitting on the patio. They upgraded me to the presidential suite.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the patio with Veuve, one of my favorite champagnes, and the sun is setting, and we're all out there together. And I had a moment where I just looked around at these people, at these magnificently strong, beautiful people that showed up. That was more than I imagined. And I just started crying. And I just remember saying, you guys, right now, this moment is so special for me. You guys are like angels. You're Leigh's angels. But I was like, you guys are like angels. Like, it's so magical. And it was such a thing for myself, too, to acknowledge myself that as I rise, as I am becoming more, the same type people are coming around me. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
And it was so magical and so freaking beautiful. And that clump of people all have become good friends and doing cool stuff together.
Yeah. Right.
It's
like the right people showed up, and not to say that the people that couldn't make it aren't the right people, but the way it worked out was the way it was meant to be for that.
And it was, I've had some really big surrendering things in my life where I surrender and then it turns out better than I ever imagined. And that was one of them. I felt so alone, which was my old story. And so like no one likes me. I have no friends, all of these thoughts. And then I said, oh, that's bullshit. That's low level. I'm bigger than that. God.
Yeah.
I welcome what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm going through something right now in my life that you're familiar with, but I'm not giving too much details out of respect. But I'm going through a really big upheaval in my life, something that I never thought I would be going through. And I'm getting closer to completely surrendering without worrying or wondering how it's going to turn out.
Yep.
And saying, God, this is part of my plan. Let me be open to the learning.
Yeah. That vibe is tangible too. You feel it in you.
Yes, because you felt it when I was 6 feet under almost.
Yeah.
I was so sick and so beat down and curled up in a ball. And later found out that some of my friends were texting each other going, have you seen Leigh? Have you talked to her? Have you heard from her? Somebody should go visit her. And I was like, I didn't even realize I was that low. Yeah. But I think it was the lowest I've ever been in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we were worried about you.
And I think that it was the kind of spinning. I think I was suffering because I was spinning on it.
Yeah.
I peeked over here because I wanted to just make sure I touched on a couple of things.
Yeah.
Besides that you're dreamy and I love you and you were my angel birthday girl. Oh, I was just thinking if I did them all. The only one I didn't do was MMT.
Oh, Jesus. No one cares about that.
Wait. What was funny about it is it hot or I just...
No, feels good.
Wow.
I
said MMT and I got hot. I don't get hot flashes yet.
You don't?
I haven't gotten to that point yet. Do you? Mm-mm. Are you younger than me though, right?
Yes, but no, I haven't had them yet. But
no, I haven't had them yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jill is this force, and I'm a force, and there's another gal that I love who's a force, and we're all just kind of sitting in our own little tripods. I don't know why I said tripod.
Because 3, I don't know.
We're perched on a tripod. So anyway, we're all kind of having these creative thoughts and stuff, and then I tried to lasso us together. It sounded kind of fun for a minute.
There is something interesting about it because, well, to back up,
MMT stood for, and we didn't have a real title, but I thought it was just funny because it seemed kind of hack.
Oh, yeah.
Midwest Motivational Tour. Because
Right.
I'm Kansas and she's Ohio.
You know what it is? It's like, I've had a few experiences, especially in LA, where I've been invited to things with groups of women, and some maybe start from or organized from a networking perspective, but you end up connecting on a little bit of a deeper level. And I think you know, when women come together and just talk and open up and share, a lot of great things happen. And one is people saying their truths or something they may have been holding on to and letting it out. And, you know, if things like Ianla always says, shame cannot survive being spoken. And not that it even goes that deep for some people,
Yeah.
but it's like things that people are stuck about or hurt about or whatever. When you say it, it's now out there, and that right there alleviates a lot of things. So having been through a lot of these experiences, I just love the idea of bringing a lot of women together, because I think in the end we all rise up.
100%.
And that was really the intention of us getting together and
Yeah.
kind of leading the way. And we've thought Midwest is cool because there's a lot of this stuff in New York and LA.
Yeah.
And not as much, maybe there is, but we're not aware as much in
Yeah.
the Midwest. So it was the idea of kind of popping around Midwest cities, gathering women, and just having like open conversations.
And I think that could still happen down the line.
Yeah.
I like, as you're talking about it, not like, let's get out of it, I want to do it.
Yeah.
But I do think that could still happen.
Yeah.
Because,
well, maybe your podcast will
yeah.
lead the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do plan to take it on the road and to
Yeah.
have audiences of women and to
Yeah.
have people, being a part of it.
Right.
But I do, it's funny because, I do my 33-day Facebook
Yeah.
Live series, and sometimes I do it really fast or I don't, whatever. And then I'll pass someone and they'll go, hey, I just wanted to tell you that, oh no, I got a phone call the other day from a woman that I was kind of not taking the phone call because I was like, I haven't talked to her in 12 years and I'm so busy, whatever. And finally I called her back and she just said, I just want to tell you that last year I had the hardest year of my life, and your series Coming Home about self-care changed my life.
Well, and it's like, just being open to like hearing something from an unexpected way. Clearly that was what she was meant to hear.
Yes.
And that's what you think when you gather these women together. It's like,
Yes.
someone might say something or feel a way or something that, makes it okay. One of the things when you talk about a messy life, I would say, my mess probably came in the form of panic attacks, anxiety, and sleeplessness. And I never talked about it because I didn't talk about it. I guess I didn't really see a reason to talk about it. But once I started talking about it, almost everybody has had one of those
Sleep
experiences.
issues, panic attacks.
And then it becomes less, it almost takes down a notch in your own life because it's like, it's scary. All those things are scary and life altering. But when you talk about it, you don't feel so alone. And then the other people don't feel so alone. So I think that's the higher purpose of something like that and something like your podcast.
100%. And that's the what I found is, and thank you. What I found is that this kind of cute girl moved in across the street, and I was doing women's groups in my backyard like once a month. About 25 women would come. And one time I kept inviting her and she never came, but I didn't care. I just thought I'd throw it out there. And then one time she came, and it was right after I sent Charlie to therapeutic boarding school. And I was heartbroken. But I started the meeting normal, and I was talking like this and that, doing this and that. And then I said, I'm having kind of a hard time today. And then I started bawling. And I just cried for 5 minutes, and everyone just kind of sat there sipping on their cucumber martinis, waiting. And I got myself together, and I just talked about that I felt like a failure, like I wasn't enough to take care of my own kid. I had to send him away. Like I was so heavy-hearted. And anyway, I got myself together. We finished the thing, and everyone left, and she kind of stayed behind. And then she came up to me, and she goes, oh my gosh, I didn't want to come here. I never wanted to come here because I thought, I've got so much crap going on in my life, and I'm going to go to some beautiful lady's house who's married to a movie star who has 5 beautiful kids and a perfect little house. Like, that's the last freaking thing I want.
Right.
And she goes, but you're just like me. You're hurting just like me.
Yeah.
And it's such a gift to share our mess because it's
we're all in it together, and
we all got
get
it,
better
right?
for it. Yeah, yeah.
We all got it, and it's just like the minute you're talking about your panic attacks or the sleeplessness or all these things that can make you crazy.
Yes.
Because if you don't get enough sleep, you get sick.
100%. Yeah, it's maddening, but yeah, people look at your life and think it's perfect, and you know, a Facebook life is easy to make look perfect. But the truth is, we all got stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember in the last year, my kids they turned out really nice looking.
Yeah.
They all have nice faces.
Cute kids.
And
nice faces.
Everything that I post a picture, everything looks real good with them in it, you know?
Yeah.
But you really have no freaking idea.
No idea.
Because people are like, your Facebook posts were great. And I was like, oh yeah, I would post and then just cry.
Yeah.
And then post and then cry. But I don't spend a lot of time.
But I think that leads to confusion when people know that you have things going on and then everything looks perfect. Yeah. That bothers people. Would you say?
Oh, no. I think that it's the whole thing that you know what? It's like this. It's like that girl. She made a judgment on me.
Right.
Right. And then she saw me.
Yeah.
And said, oh, wow, you're not who I thought
so when
you were.
people see you, they know the full you.
Yes. And sometimes when I see people, like, you know how you want to clean up for me and help a lot of times, I like to start kind of wild and gruff and a little off, because then the people are kind of caught off guard, and then I can enter more organically into them as opposed to going through a bunch of fluff to get to them.
Right.
I just start with it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, that's uncomfortable for me. Don't start with it. She's not weird. She's not. But then I end up connecting with them and having a really lovely experience.
Right.
But I find when I come in with my angle that's odd.
Yeah. It's your way in.
It's just how I am.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, the way people react to it's probably really revealing to you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I say that I can say or do anything to anyone, but because it's on a foundation of love, it's not taken like you're an asshole.
Right, right.
They're like, oh, you're safe to talk with about this.
Yeah.
Oh, you know? So
it's just that little moment before they realize it that's where I go crazy.
And that's what brings me the most joy is I'll say it and then they look at me. Or like last night we went to dance when I should have been home.
Did you go out after Rocco's? Uh-huh. Did you go to Oil Can Harry's?
No. But I mean, I would have. Don't get me wrong. Love that place. Next door to Rocco's is 77.
No, I know. That's a dance place?
Oh.
Wait,
yeah, that have a
I thought
DJ.
that was a private party room.
Oh, I don't know what the hell is going on.
Okay,
here's
but
here's what happened.
danced? That changes everything.
One location to the second location.
Okay.
Then I had a giant beer when I should have been already in bed. And then I get an Uber. Liz gets in the Uber. I'm going and I hear Lee. And I look over and Joanne's waving me in. And I'm like, I was still a little bit okay going,
what time is it at this point?
Don't do it. Midnight or 11:30.
Okay, all right.
Midnight. We went out at 6 though. We had dinner at 6.
Right.
So good 5 hours
third
in.
location's definitely never a good idea. Yeah.
And Liz is in the Uber and needs to be in the Uber. And I opened the door. I said, get out. And she's like, why? I was like,
she's ready to sleep.
Joanne just yelled and I looked and people are dancing. And she's like, let's go. And we got on that damn dance floor. But anyway, I walked up to these group. It was a group of black gals dancing by themselves, you know?
Oh,
and I was like,
your dream come true.
I was like, I'm so in that.
Yeah.
I was like, right on, girls. I am here. Right. And I just got in there and grooving with them. And one girl was looking at me like, oh, you cannot just come in here like and groove with my posse. And I was like, oh, yeah, I
Wait till you see my moves. Did the splits go down?
And I didn't split.
Okay.
I didn't split. Thank God.
Right.
Thank God. But anyway, it was just, I saw her look at me and I looked right back at her and I gave her a look like, oh, I'm in. Like, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm not a threat. I'm not an asshole.
Right.
I'm with you.
And then the next thing you know, you're exchanging numbers and your friends. Right.
Bumping our butts like the old 70s bump. And I was like, this is what I love.
I'm so glad there's dancing there now. Hopefully it's on the regular because, I love a dance party.
Oh my gosh. So let's actually, when this is over, look online and see because they have DJs and they were kicking it in there.
Okay. All right.
Does that sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
We're going to keep our party going on.
Yes.
You want to tell me anything special about yourself? Oh, wait. What was on my little questionnaire? Wasn't there something in? Tell me something. The last question?
You can look at it. I don't remember.
I don't either. Tell me something special about you. Did you read that? Because I know I just sent it a little bit ago.
I did, but I might have missed that question.
Oh, you missed it? Because I was like, that's what you kind of need to know before.
Special about you. Well, you go first.
No, this is me asking you.
Oh, because I was curious what your answer would be.
Something special about me. I don't know. I can't think.
That's a hard question.
I would have to get the email before and think about it.
I think.
Or maybe something somebody doesn't know about you.
Oh. Ooh.
Either.
Okay, let's see. Something someone doesn't know. All right. This is like those trivia games you play at dinner parties.
I know. This is a weird one because when I'm going into my brain to get an answer, it's just blank right now.
I know. Me too. We can edit this one out.
Yeah.
I know.
Wait. Tell me something really special about you. I don't have anything. What about you?
I don't know.
Me either.
I have a permanently bent arm.
Why?
I got tripped playing soccer when I was 14. I had surgery, and I was a wimp in physical therapy, so my arm doesn't straighten or bend.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
What am I? But I still play tennis and stuff. But it's
with Charlize Theron's. How do you say her name? Mother.
Love Gerda.
I'm going to take lessons just so I can come play tennis with you.
I know. Well, I only play with people that are good. So it's
You're
gonna be
a horrible person.
Take a lot of lessons.
I love you to death.
I love you to death.
I'm so happy you were here.
My pleasure.
And I look forward to continuing to rise so I can work with you one day. She only does the best of the best.
I'll produce your show at Montecito.
When I get that stuff going.
There you go.
All
Yes.
right.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.
Let's hug.
Should we dance?
Yeah. Let's.
I worked out, so I'm all sore.
I love you.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you.